Hey there, Wargamers. Justin the Pincher, and today we got something special for you. We have not done a two nerds talking in months, but Mike. But Mike has come out today with his wife, whose name I didn't catch today.
Amanda.
Amanda. So she's out with us today, and he want to do a follow-up based on the previous chat we had. So it's probably going to be mostly them talking. I will interject as I can, but give you some insight into what he's going through, and then hopefully tie it into how he's gotten back to some of the hobby stuff that he kind of dropped during what he was going through. So heads up as we start, we don't have microphone attachment to the camera, so we'll try and articulate. But for anyone who's getting the comments and be like, the audio's not great, well, we have mics that work for 2 people and funnel in. We don't have for 3, so we're just going at it raw with just the camera. So I said, Mike, you guys are interested in chatting, so I'm gonna let you take us off. However you want to segue into what you're going through or how you want to talk about it.
Well, last time we got here, you asked about being in the military and all the stuff we did, and stuff we went through, and hobbying and all that. Well, at the time, everything was good.
Yep.
Seemed to be good. Well, that was very wrong. Very wrong. A couple little things popped up where my anger was getting the better of me, and we wasn't handling it very well. And then she knew it. She saw it. And eventually I just started like closing myself off. So I was out here about 1.5 years ago to do that. Well, I don't know. Not long after that. Not long after that. Started like pulling back. Well, I talked to you about doing CSO. I submitted twice. I'm still in that process whenever I decide to do it. I kind of got grandfathered in under the old system to Matt and some of the other guys. And I only had to do like minor fixes, so I'm working on that. It basically like what I had. I just had to fix a few things, except for one make because there's no consensus of what camouflage looks like.
They're inconsistent with a whole lot of things. One person will say they like it, one says they don't. You just gotta take it in stride.
Yeah, this one's like 50-50, so it might get popped out and something else dropped in there just to and then I'll send it back later. Or something. But after that, fortunately, she was going through some stuff at the time too. But she had already been seeing somebody, and we were kind of like living in the same house for separate lives. Like she was going through her, travels, being at the house, being mom all the time. I was going through like I had never not been a provider. I've always been working, kind of hamster wheel shit going on, and like I go to work, come home, go to work, come home. I stopped painting. I stopped getting on Discord, talking to anybody. I stopped going anywhere. All my hobby stuff just stopped. She noticed it first. I started playing a video game, Arma, Reforger. There was a bunch of vets on there that started a thing, and I was talking to them, and I kind of started coming out a little bit because I'm talking to guys who did what I did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a military sim video game, and you're with people who were in the military, so it makes sense.
Even then, it started kind of like pulling back from that because I'm like, I don't mind talking to the military guys, not against people who's not been in the military, but like, we opened it up to everybody, and they're talking to us, and we're telling them our experiences. Some of those guys actually end up in the military. And then eventually I just kind of pulled back from all that completely. And then I finally was sitting there one day, and I realized, hey, it's wrong. Basically, I was depressed and didn't know it. Did not know. Never been depressed in my life. I didn't know what the feeling was. And I finally kind of recognized it in myself. Like, okay, I need help. I need to talk to somebody. Well, I told myself that, but I didn't tell her that. Not knowing that she was going through some things that I wasn't seeing because I was in my own stuff. Makes sense?
So let me clarify a couple things. So first of all, you said at the beginning she was already seeing someone. I assume you mean she was seeing like a counselor.
Yeah, a counselor.
Okay, so for anyone who's asking like that, the issues we're talking about, it's not like infidelity.
No.
And would you say that some of your withdrawal from your hobbies and your interest, which is like textbook depression, but you're not sharing with your spouse, is this just because you didn't think to share, or because it's a stereotypical male trait of like stoicism?
Maybe a little bit of both. But when I kind of made the realization that I needed to do something about it, she was in a way better place. So part of my decision making was I don't want to take my crap, because I finally said, like, I was really happy. Like I couldn't articulate it like I see her, and she happy and just in good mood.
Yeah.
More often than not here recently, not knowing that she was going through all this other stuff and she was coming through these realizations and all these other things. And you can tell them about that too. If you want. And I was kind of like, I don't want to drag her down.
Yeah, you don't want to make your shit.
That was where I was.
Yeah, okay.
And then before I could even, we hadn't planned to go to this concert. Like she'd never been to a concert.
Yep.
Finally decided she wanted to go. Band she loved. I'm going to make it happen. I was figuring out all these ways to make it happen. She's like, hey, we can do this. Can we go? Let's go. We're going to make it happen. She's going to be happy. We're going to have a good night. And then after that, I'm going to say, hey, look, I've been going, let's do this on a high. Hey, I've been going through some stuff. I need to get help. Let's figure this out. Yeah. Well, before all that happened, I didn't want to dampen the mood at all.
Yep.
Like, so I was going to hang on to it and kind of white knuckle it until we got to the end of that, and then kind of like, all right, now I need to get fit.
Yep.
And tell her all these things. Stuff I'd never taught about my employment, never taught about stuff I did with the military a lot of the times because I couldn't.
Yep.
Wasn't supposed to. A lot of different things. Childhood crap. And then where she was at was in a totally different place. And she's like, hey, this is where AB, just laid a whole bunch of stuff out to me. I freaked out.
Yep.
First time in my life I ever felt anxiety. Like, I'd fight or flight, and it was massive.
Yep.
Like, the whole time I was deployed, I was never scared. Never had that, like, you get that initial shot, like, oh, something's happening.
Yep.
And then you kind of like, this is my job.
Yep.
You kind of go into
training takes over.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is what you're supposed to do. Yep.
This was not that. This was like,
you don't really have that relationships. You got to train for it. You just learn as you go.
Yeah, this one, she not saying what she said was wrong or anything. It was just like where she was at, and like she was seeing that I was not where I needed to be. She's like, hey, you need to do this for X, Y, and Z. I couldn't blame her for that. And then I literally had like the worst PTSD episode I've ever had in my life. Like, she saw it. I went through it after this happened, literally like a day after, and I was up for 3 days straight, 36 hours, no sleep. No sleep for 36 hours. Scared her. And not long after that, a couple of days, she drove me straight to the VA to try to get help, and that was a whole process. I mean, it was going to take them. I work for the VA, and I'm not knocking them. I get it. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of people that need help, and there's only so much they can do so fast. But I was in a bad, like, terrible spot. I wasn't, like, suicidal or anything like that, but I was not anywhere to being a functioning human being at all. I used a lot of my vacation time at work in that little part of the time. I used a lot of sick time. Like, I'm literally reconstituting all that right now. Yeah. They even saw what was going on here. Here's this that you can use in case family medical leave act. So if I put in that paperwork, so if something came up that had to do with this, they can literally like buy time from me, or like get people who had so much extra time they would give me their time.
Yeah,
kind of shit. And but she got into the VA. That was a whole process. She was trying to tell people, I need to talk to somebody now. Let's talk. I
was being realistic about the fact that they couldn't just get you in that day.
Yeah.
You weren't that bad off. I mean, you're bad, but you weren't that bad off.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I had kind of gotten some sleep. Not a lot, but enough to not be, psychotic after not sleeping for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then they finally got me talking to somebody. They just kind of let me vent a little bit, which kind of helped a lot, just to get some of that stuff off my chest. And then they says, all right, we're going to do this. And then like a few days later, I talked to a psychologist, and they're going to say, well, this is where we're re-diagnosing you. And they all came to the conclusion that the 2 years prior, when I went in to get my PTSD diagnosis, they screwed it up. They gave me a 50% rating, and when they re-evaluated me, they gave me general anxiety disorder, which I've only ever felt that one time. Mm-hmm. But they say it manifests other ways, and I can't discount them because they know more about it than I do.
Yeah, they're professionals. Yeah.
And then, what was the other one? Depression.
Yeah.
Like a severe depression. And then they did diagnose me with severe PTSD, and they bumped my rating up to 70, and that put me over 100%. Like, I wasn't, most people who go through the VA are like, hey, how do I get my 100%? PNT. And I'm like, even working in the system is so hard to do. It's like, I wasn't really shooting for that, but because this happened, it did, and it kind of became a benefit for us. Like, that we didn't realize what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So she had been seeing her counselor for a year prior to me even talking. So she was working through all this stuff she's been working through, and she was like in 100% better place than I was. The only part, the bad part, was our relationship.
Yeah.
You know, she was fixing herself, but we weren't fixing us.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, I was recovering from grief. I lost my mother in 2022. So that was a lot, you know?
but the weird thing was like I was all into my painting, all into painting my mags, and I had a lot of stuff. I was even talking to you about paint stuff for Nova. I had stuff pre-phased and all these little cheaters like we just talked about a few minutes ago. Still got them on my table. Maybe this year, I don't know. Even got decals from me to do it. And stopped everything. Just stopped. I didn't paint anything for Southern Assault. I didn't even buy a ticket this year.
Yeah, I didn't either. So we talked some about some of this off camera. So when it comes to the depression thing, anyone on the channel has heard me talk about mental health, depression, all that quite a bit. But like some of what you're discussing about you lose yourself in your hobbies and then all of a sudden you withdrew and you withdrew and you withdrew, that I can relate to because I understand. And it's like, and maybe your feeling was different, but like I was really gung-ho about some of the painting and the things that I was interested in, and I would go full force into it because it made me feel good. But then at some point something happens, or maybe nothing happens, you just aren't feeling it. And it's like, it feels like a job or it's not bringing happiness and you don't like it, so you withdraw from it. So like when you're talking about like not doing stuff for a year, the stuff that I'm kind of was working on in September and then dropped again, it's been over a year since I touched it. It was for a different paint comp, and then it come back around and maybe I was going to do it for this paint comp, then I was maybe going to do it for Bobby, and I made excuses and I just stopped. So for me, since September until now, I've barely touched a paintbrush, and then from September to 2025 to September 2024, I've barely painted anything. And so like I totally understand, like sometimes maybe not even realizing why you're not interested anymore or it's not bringing happiness. You know, because it was an outlet before, and then it became not. And with depression, I feel like that's a thing that sometimes happens. You don't realize it.
Yeah.
The things that were bringing happiness no longer are. You're just going through the motions, and then you're just like, I don't want it. And then the next thing, I don't want it. So I don't know if that's exactly how you felt, but it sounds like you were exiting your hobbies.
So after SA the year before.
Let's say, so SA, for anyone who knows, Southern Assault, not sexual assault. Like, so like I watch a lot of YouTubers that use SA for YouTube purposes. So Southern Assault.
In this context, SA is Southern Assault.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry about it. So after not this year, but the year before, talked to an individual, wanted me to do a commission, saw some of my work, did it. I knew him, so I wasn't going to price gouge him or anything like that. Worked on it pretty hard. I even outsourced to you for some things because it just wasn't available or just wasn't being happening. So. And it took a little time to do it, not because I wasn't making progress, I just didn't have all the things I needed because they weren't available.
Yeah.
And he knew it, and he was cool with it. And then I started slipping into those little things where like, hey, I'm going to do this. You're doing your stuff for Nova. I'm going to paint these guys for you. You know, I just want to have decals. I got you. Had them all based up. Just had to do detail work. All the, go through the motions like we do. And I stopped. Like, I don't know what it was. I think more or less of it was around May time. I had to go. Like, I had been working remote for 4 years, and it wasn't. I don't have a problem with people. I don't have social anxiety or anything like that. I don't. It was just like the idea of being in a cubicle for 8 hours drove me crazy. Yeah. And it wasn't even just that. And I started coming up with these realizations. Like, you see how I feel. I wasn't just like that last time. This is me, right? I had not been who I was for 10 years.
Yeah.
I got in the military. They told you what to wear, when to be there, when to eat, all that stuff. Yeah. Uniform, time, place, uniform. Yeah. Got out, still working for the government. Go inside the office, time, place, uniform. Yeah. And it was like, I just stopped wearing the stuff I did, doing the things I like, just being who I was. And it started gnawing at me. Like, I can't sit in the cubicle. I can't. I even told my boss, like, she said nobody ever told her this before. I walked in one day wearing some stuff like this. I had a decent shirt, like a bowler shirt on, nothing crazy. Not what I got on here. And I was like, look, this is driving me nuts. I sit in this hole for 8 hours. Not again, I love my work. I work for the Department of Veterans. I work on veterans plans. I like helping veterans. Don't ever get me wrong on that. But, like, the environment to work in is not conducive for me to be productive. Yeah. I said, I got to do something. I said, look, I'm going to start dressing like this. I sit in the company. If it's going to be a problem, then tell me. If not, I'm not going to sacrifice my comfortability for your conformity. Yeah. if I'm going to sit here, I'm going to be comfortable and do my job.
Yeah.
I'll be more productive for you. You know?
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you're fine. Don't worry about it. So my boss is really cool. Thank you very much.
I'm sure your boss is watching us on YouTube.
I doubt it. But, hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we got friends who were in the medical field and lawyers and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. That is true. You're not wrong. Yep.
Yep. Anyway, that was like the first step I took to like gain something back. And then I finally got to talk to a VA psychiatrist, and they kind of, like I said earlier, they kind of re-diagnosed me and said, hey, this is what you need to do. And they're like, hey, well, if you want to do, somebody called me and goes, well, if you do this through the VA, we'll give you 8 sessions and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, 8 sessions is not a lot with a therapist. Yeah.
But the way they were describing it is like they dive in hard, they go to the root of it, rip you apart, and then like in 8 sessions, 8 hours, they're like, okay, you're fixed. I'm like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
I said, how about you do a referral and refer me out? Well, we can do that too. And then I got set up with the people I'm working with. And I've been talking to this person since July. August? Maybe August.
Yeah.
And once a week I'll talk to them. We go through all of it. And they're real cool. So if you ever go to it, like people always have this bad stigma about therapists and counselors. I did too. I'll be honest with her. I was like, I was not about it.
He was adamant he wasn't going.
Yeah. I was like, I don't need it. I don't need to do it. And I was finally like, you know what? After me and her had our little talk about what was going on with us, and we wanted, like, we've been together. This year we celebrated 25 years married in September. This past month we've been together 29 years. We've been together since we were 15. Like, we're not going to lose that because we don't want to. I don't want to lose that because I don't want to fix myself. So I'm like, I'm going to go get fixed.
Yeah, I mean, going to a therapist makes a lot of sense versus throwing away 25 years of marriage.
Exactly.
It's like, the quote that I hear a lot of people say when it comes to like mental health, especially with vets, but in general, it's like I'd rather hear about your problems than hear about your funeral. You know, it's like talk to someone because it's better to do that than not. And this is a case where like you may have been resistant, but like the net benefit for, I mean, you made it through getting shot at, blowed up, all that stuff, and you talk to a counselor a little bit and save your marriage. You know, you wouldn't
that was
like don't be a quitter. Basically,
yeah, I wasn't at the point where like if I don't talk to somebody, I'm gonna load test a ceiling fan or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I don't, then I might lose us.
Yes,
And that was not worth it.
Yeah. Do what you got to do to save the marriage. And that, honestly, other things you could do. I mean, you've been through harder stuff. This is just talking to somebody. Like, at least that's the way in my head I would approach it.
Well,
like,
see, my thing is it's more of a trust issue, and the things I was trained in. You know, the way I look at people and I approach people, like I'm real skeptical until I sit there and talk to somebody for a few minutes. And if I can think that you got a genuine interest, or like, you know, because sometimes genuinely care is the biggest thing. Like, because sometimes, you know, these people do these jobs and it's like, okay, well, I got to talk to somebody in an hour. We got this much time, and they kind of rush you through it, and they're like, they're not listening to you. So, fortunately, the person I'm talking to, she's cool. I like talking to her, and she doesn't like, you know, you don't. I feel like she's doing it right because I've not. This is my first experience with this, and I don't know. You have a different experience with yours. The first time we talked, she's like, I just want to talk. Just want to get to know you. That's cool. That's great. I don't need to like spill my guts to you on day one. Second day, she actually had some questions for me. Hey, all right, let's break this down. I'm like, well, A, B, C, and D. And then the next time we talk, we're just going to talk. We're not going to talk about anything hard. So it's like, we're going to dive in this shit. We're going to like get to the root of certain things. We're going to talk about, and then the next time we're just going to have a conversation. What'd you do? What's going on with you? You know, and then the next day we're going to have some more hard questions. So it's like, you're not just constantly just getting beat up about all the stuff in the past, you know, which is great, you know, because we were talking earlier, she asked me a question, and I was like, man, I don't want to think about that, you know, like, no. And then I did, and it jacked me up for about a week, like, because it's something I had never considered. I'm not going to go into what it was, but, and then I gave her my answer, and she's like, well, how do you feel about that? And I had never considered that. You know, like, and that's part of what was eating me up, like, because you go to these places, you see things that you don't really relate to. Like, I never told her anything about any of that. Any of it.
Let me just say, I never asked because I came from a family of military men who had gone to war and seen things, and I was told you don't ask. So I didn't.
And then part of me just didn't want to say it. It was like, oddly enough, there's anybody who's been deployed or been in the military can say that, you know, when you're in a deployed environment, is 180 degrees different than it is a garrison environment. Like, there's actually, you can have some good time there, but you make the best of what you got given the circumstances and location. And there was times like that, and then there was times that were just terrible, just bad things going on.
So, like, when you're in response to kind of your wife there, she didn't ask. I've got, I know you, and I've got several friends that are military, and I don't directly ask them things. Sometimes I'm like, "How you doing?" or whatever. If you want to talk to me, you can. But like, one of the things that I think is a common thread that everyone that I've met who's in the military will say is like, "Well, you can't relate. You're not going to understand," and I totally get it. But in my current relationship with my girlfriend, I've complained about some things, and then I'm down on myself about it. And because, like, should I be confiding in you? Do you understand? Do you even care? And she'll be like, I may not understand what you're talking about, or know what you're talking about, or, it might not be something interested in, but I'm here for you, and I will listen to you, and it's clearly important enough to you that you want to talk to me. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
So, like, I think I get it when some of you guys don't want to talk about it, and I totally get it. But if you ever want to, there are plenty of people who will listen who may not be able to relate, but if you feel comfortable enough talking to them, a real friend's going to be comfortable enough trying to listen and relate as best they can. And if they can't relate at all or even consider it, they're still there for you. And that really hit hard when she told me that, because it's like, you're right. Like, if you're my person, then you are willing to hear me complain about what I'm going through, even if you can't do anything about it. That's part of what comes with the territory.
And that's 100% where I messed up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. Part of me, my whole life, and this is stuff we've been talking about, was like, okay, I grew up a certain way. You don't put your feelings out there. You don't talk about certain things. So, like, when she was going through stuff, I had, like, no, I don't know, structure, going, like, are you okay? What can I do to help you? Because we didn't do that.
Yeah, like, there was a generation of men that were, you were raised to be like, suck it up, buttercup, whatever, don't be a pansy. Like, we weren't raised to be emotional, and there's a time and a place for it, and that's becoming more acceptable in society these days. But like you said, that's not. You come from a generation where, like, that was not what was instilled in men, So, like, that might not have been your first instinct.
And it wasn't like I wasn't a believer. It's like, she's not feeling well or something's going on. But like, what do I even say? What do I even do? And then I'm part of like, well, if I just don't say anything, then it'll go away, or whatever the case was.
You're also trained where, like, if there's a problem that is a nail and you're the hammer, go beat the nail. Which is not how relationships work.
There's obvious things I can help for. Like she was saying, she was going through grief, and I know what the cause of that grief was. There's only so much I can do, but I can't do. But like, I don't know when it hit. Sometimes it hit when I wasn't there, or she was doing things that seemed like the normal thing, but it wasn't the normal thing. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't have a good frame of reference to go, what can I do? You want to talk to me or whatever? Other than that. And then vice versa, I didn't want to like dump her crap on her.
Well, that's what I was just about to ask you. Like, why did you not feel comfortable like talking to me about it in that moment?
Because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do.
All right, guys, we might have had a quick cut there because there was a phone call coming in. We didn't want you to hear the phone. I'm going to try and remember to edit that out. Otherwise, you're going to watch me walk by the camera. Look dumb. So Amanda, I believe you were asking Mike a question about why I didn't find you or talk to you, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I told her because I didn't know how. I didn't know what to say, what to do, how to even approach it. Like, I had no frame of reference of, like, how would you even help somebody like that?
But you, like, for the most part, I'm sure you felt comfortable just talking to me about general stuff.
Well, yeah, I could talk to you about
because I always
every
consider
day.
myself to be like a comfort, like, hey, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously, I could have a crap day and I just walk in and I'm like, hey, I just need to sit down or something, and we go do that, and I feel 100% better, but it wasn't like, it was like putting a Band-Aid on. And then we had never, there's something that just amazes us as long as we've been together. We never talked about, like, a lot of our real stuff.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because like old stuff.
Old stuff.
Before us.
And then part of it was because me didn't know how, didn't want to give her all this bad information. I wouldn't say bad information, just like, this is why I'm kind of messed up. Yeah. Who does that? Yeah. And, once I started talking to this counselor about all my military shit and all my other stuff that kind of got me where, like, my anger was an issue, I was withdrawing, all the depression stuff that came out, like, I finally told her, like, yeah, you were depressed, like, bad depressed. Like, some people just cut a few things out. You cut everything out. Like, you stopped all of it. Everything. I would work, I'd get off, I'd sit there and talk to her or watch TV, or wouldn't even play again. I stopped playing video games. I got a couple games I play pretty regularly if I jump on for like a couple hours a week. Stopped all that. all the guys I was talking to in Armor stopped doing that. And then she and I had our little conversation about what was going on between us, and we recognized that, hey, we were living in the same, basically like roommates. You know,
Yep.
people have gone through this process. We lived in the same house, but we didn't live together.
Yeah.
We had our own issues, and neither one of us was saying anything about it.
Yep.
We recognized there was something going on, but we weren't doing anything
Yeah.
about it. And then she got into a space where she's like, hey, we're going through some things, and she threw it down on the table to me like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Either basically get fixed or that's it. And then I was like, I got to do something. So
Well, it's just because I was working on my own stuff, my own grief, like kind of coming through that, kind of finding some clarity, some light at the end of the tunnel, where you've been dark and sad and just kind of moody. And I was like, hey, I feel this way, and I'm really happy. Everything's going great. And it's like, I know he's not okay, so I need to go talk to him about how I'm feeling, how he's feeling. And that really cracked it open for us to start working on things, which if it hadn't, that's probably how a lot of relationships end, because you don't talk about it.
Yeah, communication is a big deal. That's
And then to bring it back to some of the hobby stuff there, well, I just finally got everything I needed to finish this guy's commission after 6-8 months.
Yeah.
And part of it was like, I'm going to get that money, I'm going to charge him like $150 or something like that, because he was a friend. And I took it to him. I got the stuff I needed. I finished it, and I painted it. And I was like, first time I picked up a paintbrush in like 5 months, 6 months. Wasn't a lot I had to do, but I did it. And I was like, okay, this looks good.
Yeah.
It looked really good. Got the decals. Appreciate it. All the stuff I needed to do, I took it to him. He saw it, and he's like, this was great. He paid me an extra $100. He didn't have to.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, shit. Part of mine was like, I would go in there and sit down and like try, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
I'd look at all the stuff I had, stuff I had half finished, stuff I'd started, stuff I'd planned to do. And I'd pick up one where I'd be almost done, and I'd start to paint, and I'd look at it and go, I'm not feeling this.
Yep, 100% relate to that. Yep.
Like, at all.
Yep.
Part of me was like, I want to do it, but like I'm not feeling it. And then part of me is like, if I'm not feeling it and I start painting on it, then I'm gonna do a crap job.
Yeah, you will manifest. Like I noticed that some of my best work is when I'm in a good mental state, and when I'm in a negative mental state, a flaw looks bad, and then that looks worse, and the next thing looks worse, and it's like quicksand. It gets to the point where what I'm doing is now toxic, and it's no longer helpful. It is actually actively making me feel bad.
Well, what kind of brought me temporarily out of that funk is when I went to finish that commission, like, I had a goal in mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make this money. We're going to use it for our experience.
Yep.
Because when we started going through our stuff, we're like, hey, we need to be a different way.
Yep.
So, literally, we've been collecting crap our whole lives. Just junk. And we're like, we need to stop. We're not going to use any of this stuff. We're not going to do any of these things. So we actually have a plan in the spring to get a dumpster dropped in our driveway and to purge half the house. But before that, we're like, hey, let's start gaining experiences. Let's do things together. Let's go these places. So we started small. We started going on dates again.
Yep.
Every week or 2 weeks that we can, we'd go out. Just me and her.
Yep.
Go somewhere, get something to eat, have a drink, kind of make it. If we can make a day of it, if not, we'll just go out for a few hours.
Yep.
And then we even started going to like hanging rock to the waterfall and stuff like that.
I think the thing that people would say for like relationships, marriage counseling, whatever, that this would be like, you're not just married; you should always be actively dating your spouse.
Yeah.
So like you're doing the dating thing, and that's good.
Little things matter.
we just got so wrapped up in taking care of our kids, and like that's not a bad thing.
House.
The bills, the house, working. Like I was literally asking myself, and she was too. Like, who am I without all these things?
Yeah.
And we couldn't answer those questions. Like, we didn't know. And then, so I finished that commission, and I felt good about it. Like, hey, I did, I finished what I needed to do. I started this project. I got paid for it. It was good. They really loved it. People talked to me about it afterwards, trying to get me to do other things. I wasn't in a mindset to do it, so I wasn't going to take on some shit I didn't want to do. And then I would sit down, like I mentioned before, and try to paint something. And I would eke a few things here and out, and I'd be like, okay, that doesn't look bad. But it was like, that's not my best either. Because the feeling wasn't bad. So I just stopped. And even I kept saying, well, I had all this stuff painted I was going to set aside for Southern Salt. And I'm gonna fill this. I mean, I painted like 80% of it, and then just stopped. and I was talking to Eric.
CSO Suga.
Suga.
Yep.
Me and him were talking on Discord almost once a week. Stopped doing that.
Yep.
He was texting me, "You all right, man?" He was checking in. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going through some things. Need some time." Not telling him anything. Really didn't tell anybody anything for months because we were just focused on us.
Yeah, I didn't hear from you for a while. Then all of a sudden I got a message on Discord saying, "Hey man, I can come film now." Something like that. I'm available. I can come
We
film
bumped
again.
into each other at CS or at this year's Southern Assault.
Did you have fun doing that? Like just helping Bobby get
Well,
the
that was
stuff
the
together,
thing.
hanging
So,
out with
like-
the guys again, just
like-
kind of.
Bobby was. I went earlier that year. I went and hung out with Eric, with
Yep.
Suge. We spent a day out there at his place. BSing about painting and photography and all that kind of stuff because I was working on my CSO stuff. I still am. I haven't put it off. I just kind of been on the back burner. Then I went out to Bobby's. We gamed at his house one night, and then I didn't touch anything, painted anything to do with Battletech for a while. Then I started talking to Eric. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be on. You want to talk?" Sure. And then I kind of told him what was up. Why I haven't been doing anything.
Yeah.
I haven't been talking to nobody. I think I reached out to you a couple times. Hey, I can still do things if you want to.
Yeah.
And Bobby's like, "Hey, we need some help." And then I got all this stuff. He was like, he was sounding like he was behind on a lot of things, and things were getting on. So we volunteered. Hey, we're not doing anything. We'll just come over. So we came over and we were talking about it. He goes, "I got all this stuff I need to do," and then like, we're sitting here. Let's just put together the swag bag. So we just put together like 100 and some odd swag bags.
Yep.
All the stuff he had.
160, I think.
Sat there one night and did it, just BSing with him and some of the other guys there. And then it turned into like, we're going to go help this Southern Assault.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to play in it. I wanted to, but I was like, and then he's like, well, if you want to, you can. You can just be my ringer. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that. So I was like, I'll just bring a couple Army. I brought the one I had last year that I got footer stories for. Thanks, guys. And then the one I was working on. But I ended up dropping my Stone's Lament on the table because everybody liked those, the skeletons.
Yep.
And I had a big Aries that Aaron and some of the other guys were just taking a million pictures of the year before, and they didn't realize it was the same one this year. And was like, "Oh, that was the guy from last year." Well, I took like 10 more pictures. I'll have to bring him out here one day.
Yep.
And it turned into like getting back into that environment of familiarity. Like, okay, I kind of wanted. Well, that night there, I was telling you earlier, we were looking at the Gothic stuff.
Yeah.
I had never really dabbled in it. I heard about it, and I looked at the box set, and I'm like, this Marauder looks kind of cool. So I could totally turn that into a Black Marauder. If you know who that is, you know what it is. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, "Here's what I'm painting."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I'm like, now I got something I'm kind of like, I could see it in my head from start to finish what I could do to it to make it look the way I want. And I was
And
like,
I'm excited about it. I'm like, hey, let's
I
do
hadn't
it.
felt that way in months. Like I wasn't passionate about any of it, and I looked at it, and like as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what I wanted to do from start to finish. Hadn't had that feeling in a while. And then talking with them, and then going to SA and being around those people again, and playing in the game because he needed a player, and I played all but one game. Still didn't place last. And just being around everybody and seeing the people paint and talking and just kind of being a nerd again, Basically what it came down to. And I kind of, one of the guys there got another one of them. He's like, "Hey, if I get a Marauder," because he was there when we were talking about it, says, "I'll give it to you and you can paint it that way." So I got 2 of them painted that way, and I'll probably just give it to him.
Yeah.
But all that kind of started like, we were working on us. I'm talking to these people. I'm kind of getting back into this. I'm like trying to, getting excited about painting again. I based all that stuff down, and I got it all set up to keep painting, and I started painting again. I started picking things up again, and just kind of like coming out in front. It was literally almost a year where I went from 100% into a whole bunch of stuff to like nothing to like I'm kind of eking my way back into everything.
I've got a buddy of mine, I've talked to him about this a lot. When I live streamed, people would see me go through different emotional states, and I described feeling like an emotional roller coaster. You have ups and downs, and I would describe it that way. And I was talking to my buddy about like talking to someone, medications, whatever, and he's like, "Well, that all depends on your cycle." And I was like, "What?" And he was explaining to me that people that end up with depression often have cycles. You have ups and downs, and if you've not dealt with it before, this could be something new, but once you've got some tools, you might be able to better identify when you are approaching a downward swing, where like, this is a low point, I'm feeling this way. What are things I can do to combat this that gets me back on the uphill swing so that I'm not stuck here? So it sounds like you were at a up, and then you hit a very drastic down. And it may or may not be cyclical for you, but for a lot of people, they do that where they have a rise, where they feel good, and then boom, they withdraw.
I still have days here and there, but they're not as like debilitating as they used to be. Like I'd have my tell like, hey, I'm kind of feeling a little off today. Like can't pinpoint it or something. If it gets worse, you kind of warm. You know?
Yeah,
not warm, but you know. And here lately, I can't remember the last time I had like a really bad day. Like it's been like we made all these plans and things we want to do and things we want to do. Like we say we're building experience. Like now our things are concert. Like she went to that first one, she got hooked. Literally the next month we went to another concert in Charlotte. We got 3 more concerts booked for January and February. We got another one working on for March. We got another one working on for July. We got 2 more planned out from November to September.
Yep.
So like that's our thing now. That's like an experience we want to collect because like she went to her first one, got hooked.
Yep.
It was like needing something different. Like we have each other, we have our kids, but it was like we didn't do anything outside the home. So like now we're actually doing that. We're spending time together, one-on-one time together, and enjoying new experiences and just having a ball. You know?
And still kind of doing the things we used to do, like painting. She's got her own business. She's got her hobbies and the things she likes to do.
I still like playing my video game.
Yeah, she still games. Big Fallout fan over there.
Yeah.
And then I started getting like being excited to sit, like being able to look at a mini or just something. Like I even bought canvases just to do regular paintings like I used to do back in the day. Just not always about the hobby. Like you guys, that's my palette cleanser. I want to get a canvas and paint an actual picture and not have anything to do with none of this. You know.
Yep.
Because I did that all the time. And I don't know how many people in my family don't have a painting of mine.
Yeah.
You know? I do different mediums like scratch board or stipple, and those are hard to do. Those are like very discipline-oriented type art mediums because if you mess up the whole thing. Yeah, you can't start over.
Yeah.
I even skipped a little bit, and then another thing I did when I was younger, I took piano. We're big music people. That's why we're into the concerts like we are. And I picked up the guitar right before I went in the military, and I got pretty good at it. And I put it down and never picked it back up. And one of the first things I bought when I kind of got interested into like an interest I wanted was I bought a bass guitar.
Yep.
And I got that, and I started, in my time, usually when nobody was around, because playing a guitar in the middle of the house is not that cool. It's like, especially a bass guitar, you can rattle some windows. So I bought a brand new bass, Ibanez bass, 4-string bass. Got an amp, got everything, got it all brand new, and I'd sit out there and just work the scales and kind of something that I was excited to do, and because I got excited to do that, and that's something I'm enjoying doing. Now I'm playing music, and then makes me want to go paint again and be more creative. And then that's when I picked up that Mic. I'm like, I could see this thing start to finish done in my head before I even started doing anything. So that's kind of it brought me back to want to do the hobby stuff, even come out here and fellowship again. Like I didn't want to do anything. Like I was ready. I was like you were saying before. Part of me was considering like maybe Bobby will buy all this stuff. Somebody will buy all this crap. I was literally sitting here not doing anything.
We were to that point. We were talking off camera about everyone goes through their own thing. We were having similar experiences with feelings with hobbies, with drawing, whatever. And I was telling them that like over the summer, because and I've talked about this on the channel a bunch. I apologize to you guys, and I thank you for still being here, all that stuff, especially patrons. But I hit a point over the summer where I was just like, maybe I want to say fuck this and just be done. Like I'll take all my stuff, sell it, get whatever I get, don't care. Am I done hobbying? Am I still enjoying this? And closing YouTube, closing Patreon, and just like severing the cord. And sometimes when you hit those low points, that ejection button starts to look real nice, and you're just like, I'm going to start something completely new because this stuff doesn't feel good. Clearly that did not happen. You start to find your way back to your things because he's talking about finding music. He hasn't done it in over 10 years for the guitar bass stuff. And it's like, that stuff's still there. It's still in your brain. The easy way out is not always the best way out. Right. There's a lot of euphemisms or metaphors you can take from that, but sometimes getting back to what it is you like takes a little bit of work. In this case, you're talking about going through therapy and identifying the problems and trying to find healthy ways to get you back to center where you want to be. And then once you found yourself and where you want to be, those hobbies and your interests kind of came back, and they're starting to fuel each other. Talking about, I'm playing music, and then that fuels my interest in art. I'm wanting to do canvas painting. That's all artistic expression. That there for a time you were saying you just withdrew from all of it, everything. And but now that you've been working on yourself and finding your center, those things that would be really easy to just cut out, you find you didn't have to. Like they are actually helpful But when you're in the low point, if you can't try and strive to find yourself or find that light at the end of the tunnel, it's real easy to just be like, I want to continue withdrawing. If I'm already withdrawn, what's the way that I can do more withdrawing? And for me, it was like, I could just quit. Not only not doing it, I can just get rid of it and never do it again.
Well, not to like, part of me, like, it hit me hard the way it did. Because I had recognized I had an issue.
Yep.
I made a plan to do it. She didn't know that plan.
Yeah.
She had her own shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, hey, dummy. So I was like, oh shit, I got to deal with like what she's telling me about us. And I'm like, then I got all my stuff. So I got hit like with my shit and our shit all at the same time. And I'm like, okay, how do I, like, it literally, I told her, like, the best metaphor is I'm sitting on my little stool like this right here. And she came over and just kicked that stool out from under me. And everything that was wrong just fell on the floor.
Yeah.
And then I start picking it back up one at a time. Like, do I need this anymore? No.
Yeah.
Do I need to fix that? You know, that kind of thing.
And for me, like you were talking about with the depression, I was talking to my therapist about it. And I was like, I'm like so happy. I'm like on cloud 9. And she's like, then the next week when I went to talk to her, it was kind of like I was down again.
Yeah, cycles.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I know what happened.
Yep.
She's like, you popped to the surface. She's like, all of it was gone. You're just like happy. Everything is good, you know? And then it was kind of like, and it was like, oh. But I had already like talked to him. So we were kind of like starting that whole process of working. But it's important to find people to listen, no matter how big or small.
Well, I think the thing I would probably say in the context of this particular case is you guys are in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who's wanting to pursue a relationship or in one, if you don't view the person that you've chosen to be your significant other as a teammate, your relationship is probably going to fail at some point. And sometimes that can create conflict and struggle in that, like, you know, if you're with someone who's particularly independent and they don't want help, it doesn't matter if they want help, you're still there to be with them. You know, you are their teammate, whether they need the help or not. They need to know, I'm on your side, tag me in, coach, or put me in, coach, when you need me. And they may need it, they may not. But, like, if, in y'all's case, you're talking about you were in the same house, you were separate people, you were married, but you really weren't, like, there, you needed to be teammates. And once you, at least the way that I interpret this, once you kind of found it and you started working together, you're now both moving towards a common goal. Yes, and that's important.
I was doing two things. I was fixing me.
Yep.
And I was doing my part to fix us.
Yep.
And that's always going to be a thing. Like, even like the small shit I wasn't doing to help her out, like the things that were driving her nuts, like helping with laundry, or doing this or doing that.
Things over time, you know?
Yeah, like I totally get it because like right now she and I are in this different mindset, and like I have older teenage boys.
Yep.
I got a son that's about to be 21, one that's turned 16, and another one that's about to turn 13.
Yep.
So they're the one that's the younger one. He's going to be with us because of his autism. That's a whole other thing we had to do with, you know, like
stress of
that. Stress, that'll stress you the hell out.
Yep.
Like if you don't
also
live with
became
it.
guardians to our nephew.
Yeah, I got custody of my nephew, and he's autistic.
Stress.
Yep.
So like all these, there wasn't a lot of good things coming in, and just a lot of like stressors piling up.
Yeah.
And then we weren't doing anything for ourselves to like break ourselves out of that. And then like I was getting angrier and angrier about the simplest and more stupid crap, you know, because I wasn't finding a healthier expression or talking to anybody about any of this stuff. And by the time she goes, "Hey, dummy, get fixed,"
Yep.
You know.
No, I didn't say it like that.
No, but it was a different.
I used my words. I came to you and said, "Hey, I'm feeling like this. I want to talk about this." And then you were like, "Okay, well, I'm going to talk about this." And it was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is where we need to be."
Well, yeah, the first time I had ever mentioned anything about my military stuff was the day after that. And I was like, here's what terrible shit do you want to know about? I will tell you most of it. I won't give you all the details because nobody needs to know all that, but I will tell you circumstances and feelings and where our mind was at and all that stuff. Like the stuff I've never said before. And we do. There's still stuff I haven't talked about. And it's like dealing with certain things because, like you said, not a lot of people have the same mind of reference. So, like, I can be telling her, she can be listening and understanding, and I'm grateful for that. And she'll listen. She'll ask me questions sometimes with, like, will she ever really know unless she's been there? No, not a lot of people will.
Yeah, I like to think about it like counselors who've been through a lot of stuff. Without trying to get ultra demonetized here, but let's say women who've gone through very not good circumstances in life. It's probably good odds a therapist has not been through that, but they can still counsel you through it. not that everyone who listens to you is a counselor, but at some point in life, confiding in someone and talking to them who has been through experience, they have to try, because not everyone is going to be able to have gone through the same thing.
Sure.
You know, and that's just right off the cuff what I think of, and I'm like, yeah, there's plenty of people who are messed up in the head because bad shit happened. People that are helping them didn't go through the bad shit, but they're still trying to help. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they may not live your experiences, but they can recognize the emotions you're feeling because of your experience and say, hey, well, you're feeling this. Let's figure out why.
Yeah, and like so to that, like talking about like your experiences, how you feel. I don't remember what context it is or what I said, but I said something to Daff, who's been on the channel once, who's also former military like you, and he's like, I've never heard someone say what you just said that wasn't in the military, and basically what we're getting at was like, we may not have gone through the same stuff, but if you're depressed, and some people, depression feels like depression. You know, when I said what I said, he's like, oh shit, like some people feel like I do, but didn't go through the same stuff. Like, yes, they do. They're just the catalyst for that may be different. So you're not alone in the world. It's just the circumstances that got you to that dark place may have been different, but a dark place is still a dark place. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, and then the side effect of it was like the physical and like health side of it. So like both of us were not healthy at all.
Yeah.
Well, gained a lot of weight, especially
Gained
after
a lot of
COVID.
weight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I mean, I saw you the first time in almost a year.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And
you said you lost like 60 pounds or something?
65 pounds.
Yeah, in a year.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
She's doing the same thing. She's lost 51.
Yep.
Like we were just like so down on ourselves to the point where like just getting up and doing anything was like, we got up, went to work, went through the motions of
You went through the motions, yep.
And then come back home and start all over again.
Well, finding the concert stuff, I think, is a good way to break the monotony, and that's a thing that I relate to too. Is that like, I know tomorrow, because we're filming this on a Sunday. I know tonight when I get home, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. Tomorrow, I have to get up at whatever time. I got to be here at work. The thing I'm gonna do at work is probably the same thing I do almost every day. And then I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna go do whatever, go to sleep. Tuesday, I'm gonna do the same thing. So like, you get into a routine, and you know. And the longer you do that, the more like the monotony just starts to weigh on you, and you don't realize it. So like, when you break that monotony, you're rewarding yourself. So it's like, I'm going to this concert. I can't go to a concert every Saturday. You know, it's like, you'd love to do it, or watch a show every night. You'd love to do it. Sometimes it can't happen. But if you don't reward yourself or give yourself that experience, you end up being, like your wife said previously, like, you're almost just a hamster on a wheel, and you just get on that every day, and you just do the same thing because it's what you're supposed to do. But at some point, you got to break that. Even if it's small, you got to give yourself that reward, that carrot, so to speak.
Yeah, so like, but part of what like started, part of what got me to recognize in the beginning that I needed to get fixed is like, she came to me and goes, I want to go to this concert. Like, she never wants to.
Never. Ever.
In almost 30 years of being together, not one time she goes, I want to do this. I want to go to this concert too. And when I saw the band, I was like, are you serious? Like, I couldn't believe it. Because I had been listening to this group for 10 years before she even considered it. And she would pop a couple songs here and there. I'm like, oh, those are good, you know. And then all of a sudden, she just dived down the rabbit hole and like a Uber fan. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this happen. This is going to happen. Like, I was literally telling her, I was like, if I got to sell some crap, I will sell some crap to get her this concert. And she's like, well, I figured out how to do it with this. I'm like, well, then let's do it. Let's buy it, you know. Got really good seats, too. And she had a ball. And I was happy, you know. And now it's kind of our thing. And, like, we're both big into music. And then part of that, right after that, is what kind of got me back into me wanting to play music again or do it. Because it's part of my family. And after that, I was like, I kind of want to paint again, you know. But I didn't find something until somebody threw that at me. You know, I can see this. This is already done in my head. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm already working on it. And then it kind of started looking at all this other stuff. Like, man, like, I was so close to being done with this. Now I kind of want to do it because now if I do it, I don't feel like I'm going to do a shitty job. You know, because like the want to do it is kind of there. I'll still, you know, it's not 100%. Every once in a while I'll go by and I'm like, I get up and I want to do it and I want to do it. And I look at it, I'm like, not yet. Yeah. And then the next day I'll do a little bit. Yeah. I feel like doing a little bit. Or I'll go and wait and then I'll go in there and just sit and mess around and get my hand back in shape for the bass I'm playing and all that. And I find things to do that kind of bring me back to the things I like to do, like the hobby stuff or the music stuff. Or like, and then we're always planning stuff like, hey, let's get out of the house for a minute. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. Go to the concert, or go to the store, like just not be in the house all the time. That was part of the problem too. We never did anything. We never went anywhere. Yeah. So like, I would sit there in my little area created for my hobby space. I rebuilt the whole den for her and her business and her little space. Yeah. And she wasn't even wanting to do that. Both of us weren't.
Yeah.
Like all the things that made us happy, all our hobbying stopped. And then now we're finding ways to come back to it and do it and paint again and play games again and all that. Like even this coming out here today, I wasn't like I can do it. I did it.
Yeah.
I like to do it. I like playing these games.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a little rusty at the one we played today, it still was kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fun for one of us.
Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah, we played Classic, and I'm terrible. But yeah, that makes sense.
The idea, you know.
Yeah.
You probably would have trounced me in Alpha Strike. You
know? I mean, maybe. It might have been a little bit closer. I would have been less grumbly.
I don't know.
We at least would have known what the terrain was. Or I would have known what the terrain was.
I don't think you've only beat me like once. So.
I don't remember how many times we played.
I don't either, but I know. Doesn't matter.
I know in Classic I may have won like one game. But that was, that might have been
the Gladiator.
Yeah. The God, Solaris 7 stuff. Yeah. Because we played with I don't remember if we played with specific mechs or the ones that were in it. Because I know that had the Legend Killer and then was it Yinlo Wang or whatever, the guy with the Rising Sun on him. Yeah.
But the biggest thing is like after we recognized that both of us were a little jacked up, and we kind of made it an effort to like. Priority. Yeah. To like support each other more, do those little things, or make time for each other, or check in.
Yep.
Like, but you also have to give each other space too.
Yeah.
You can't always be on top of each other.
Yeah.
So we do that, or I'm like I work from home, but like when I do, I go out because the only place I can work right now is in the den where she works, but she's not always out there.
Yeah.
Or if she wants to go out there and work, and I need constant, I'll just go in my room and do it. We'll literally be in the same house for 8 hours, talking here and there, but we're not on top of each other.
Again, sometimes at the end of the day, we're like, "Hey, we're going out. We're getting out of the house."
Yeah. Or even if it's a small thing, like we still drive our son to work. I'm like, you want me to do it? You want to do it? No, she's like, I don't feel like driving, and she'll just take the car and go.
Yeah.
Even if she just wants to go in the store and walk around by herself or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So all those things, and like she's been real encouraged. Like she didn't have to. She volunteered to help out at Southern Salt. She was there 2 or 3 days.
No, about 2 days.
There to help set up, there to make swag bags before that, there to help run the shop a little bit, set up all the stuff that was in the bag, all that stuff. Just break it down.
Hey, Ryan did most of that. I just helped him. Just give him some credit.
I showed up for one day. I wasn't feeling it. No.
I asked him about that. It's like, he's here. Or I saw Austin, he come over and talk to me, and I was like, Justin here? He's like, he's right over there. And you're like, hey. And you're like, look. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I came for one day. I've talked about it on the channel a bunch, but after the CSO things, my motivation just tanked.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get anything done for Nova last year because I was working on Wolf's Dragoon's diorama. Didn't get that done because I prioritized doing commission work for Blackout. I did a bunch of the box art minis for them. And so I was basically like going to work, coming home from work, working out, and working. And then if it was a day I saw Jessica, I would see Jessica, and then it was working. It's all I did. And I burnt myself out, and I got to the point I just didn't want to do it. And now that was last year. And then it came around this year, and I was dealing with all the same types of shits and feelings, and I was like, do I really want to do Battletech stuff? And then I didn't do anything for get my Battletech done for Nova, and then I didn't get it done for Southern Salt, and then I just didn't want to go to Southern Salt. So I showed up for the one day to do the meet and greet because I said I would, but I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked a little bit there.
Yeah, you and I talked about it a bunch. I sat in there and talked to quite a few people, but I didn't play, and it was like, for me, with ups and downs, all this stuff, it's like I don't know if I'm going to get enjoyment out of it, or if I'm going to get more stress than I am enjoyment, and I just had to weigh it, and I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but we've been doing those things to find things. Like we got tattoos from thing. I'm going to get more. She's into that now. Never had a tattoo in her life. We got her matching tattoos for the concert, her first concert.
Yeah,
commemorates it. That's what they're for. And then what else? We've just been figuring those things out. Working on everything. We basically threw all the crap out there that could probably tear us apart, break us down, and cause us any stress or pain. Or just, even if it comes up, think like, hey, here's this. Okay, how's that affect us here and now or in the future?
Yeah.
Well, it's there. It's something that happened or could happen, and we kind of suss it out and kind of put it in. Okay, this is not a big deal, or we can't really deal with that, or let's fix it now.
I think for us, like from the very beginning, it's like you and me against the world. We kind of always looked at it like
Yeah.
that. And when you're fighting each other, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And we may not have been doing that per se, but we weren't exactly helping each other either. So we're kind of back at that. Hey, we're going to take on the world together.
And then she's been 1,000% supportive, like trying to get me back into things she knows I love to do, just wasn't finding the motivation to do it myself.
Mhm.
Like, she didn't have to go with me to SA or anything.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to come out here
Yeah.
if she didn't want to. Like, I didn't force her to.
Yeah.
She was falling asleep in the chair with me.
Yeah, that she was indeed.
I'm here being supportive.
Yeah.
Sharing my experience.
That and just getting away from just getting out of the house.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, man. Like, you're talking about going home, coming to work, doing your job, going home,
Yep.
coming to work. Like, if you don't break that or just find a reason not to be at home, then you just your life is this building in your house or my office building in my house.
Well, you also get like, so it's a slight side tangent, but like you get this like side hustle philosophy where everything has to be work. You got to make something, and then like, you know, obviously I've mentioned on the channel before, I still live at home because I can't afford to not. I make decent money, but everything's so fucking expensive. So it's like I was doing all that commission work. This is the first year that I'm not making as much off commission work as I ever have because I was so burnt out on it. But you get to this point where it's like if I'm not working, I feel like a piece of shit. So I'm just like, if I'm sitting at home, like I force myself to play games, and there for a bit, every time I played a game, I still feel guilty, but I feel guilty, and I'd be talking to my girlfriend about it. She's like, I think it's good you're taking time for yourself.
Yeah.
But the whole time I'm playing, I'm thinking about what I should be doing, commissions or painting this thing for this project or all this stuff. And you get that mindset where, like, you have to do it, and, like, it's so hard to break it, which is why I tell people when they've talked to me about, like, I want to get into commission painting, I am 100% just like, you don't. You really don't. If you want to, you need to understand what's going to come from that. And if you drive down the path that I went down, where I did it full time for so many years, once you break out of that and try and do something else and not do commission painting, you've already conditioned yourself potentially to view your painting as a job. And if your hobby becomes a job, it's no longer a hobby. And it's really hard to circle back to it not being that. And so for me, and all my free time was done on commission stuff. So now, like, even recently I've been playing some video games, and the whole time I'm just like, is this worth it? Should I be doing something else? And then you feel like you can't enjoy your downtime. You feel bad about it. So, like, side hustle will grind you down.
We were kind of that. I didn't worry about things per se, and my philosophy hadn't really changed much from the time. Like, because it still works. Where if you have a problem, can you fix it? Yes, then fix it.
Yeah.
If you can't fix it and there's nothing you can do about it, nothing you ever do will change it, then you can't sit there and stress about it because it's just unnecessary burden, worry. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
If there's something you can do about it, but you don't have the tools to do it now, but you know you will later, set it aside. Don't sweat it because you know it's something that can be handled. She's worried about it. She's worried about things constantly.
A constant worry.
And then I wasn't, but then we kind of got to the point where we kind of hashed some things out. Like, what are we going to do about it? Can we do anything about it? No. Then, all right.
We kind of were like worst case scenario. So if this happens, how bad is it?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to be okay? Oh,
Yeah.
We're going to be fine. We'll just keep living our life, doing the best we can. And if it happens, it happens. You know, it's like.
So, yeah, from the last time I was out here, drastically different than the time to now. Down weight, don't PTSD. You know, I went from seeing these people already from every week to every 2 weeks now. Yeah, which is still great.
And in the beginning, you were seeing 2 therapists.
Yeah, I was actually seeing 2.
Yeah.
Now we're down to 1.
They're like, oh shit, we need. Hold on, here's 2 different times, twice a week, 2 different people. And they're like, okay, you don't need this one anymore. Yeah. That's how bad it was. Like, that's how well I was masking everything. Yeah. And it was terrible. Like, inside. Because it was coming out sideways, like bad anger issues. They had to do it. I promise you. I can tell you, I was never like a physical person. I would get mad at things and stuff. And, you know, I punched a wall one time. Years ago. Hadn't done it since.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. But I never put my hands on anybody. I never did those kind of things. I was never like malicious or evil or anything like that. Because I always felt like even when I was that mad, I always had some motive on the focus or control of what I was doing. But it had to come out somehow. Yeah. And it scared him, and I hated it. Yeah. So that was part of me going, I got to get it fixed. Yeah.
That was really one of the first catalysts where it was like, hey, there's something not right here. To anger, like, where did that come from? Yeah. Yeah. So that's when he originally went, and then it just kept getting worse because he wasn't getting therapy. They were just like, oh, well, you're PTSD, but we're not going to do anything for it. And it just kind of kept building, and you could see the anger, and it was kind of like, okay, that's not cool.
Literally had to like fall apart on them and go, oh yeah, you all messed up.
Yep.
Like, Jesus Christ. Here's the upside. Yes, I'm getting help. Yes, we're doing better. Yes, we're doing all these things. And we're making an effort, and I'm getting back in the hobby and doing the things I love again, playing music, painting, all that stuff. I got an increase. I won't say it's the upside; it's the weird side. So I literally had to like go through all this crap to get to the point where I am 100% PNT now with the VA.
Yep.
And I do, and the upside is that because I have kids and I do have her and I have dependents, I get my disability check. And the amount I'm getting from that disability check is being able to help fund our little house projects or us going to these concerts
Yep.
or doing these things. So like monetarily, me kind of falling apart was a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not something I recommend anybody ever go through.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, it did help us.
Yeah. So I think if we're winding it down here, I think the thing that I would say is probably the good takeaway for anyone who's watching. If you're like a manly dude or a bro vet dude or any of that shit, I think there's a stigma with seeking help. You've got this mentality, like at least in a certain generation, men were raised to be stoic, be strong. You don't complain. You don't be a whiner. You just suck it up. And then when you guys go in the military, it's like that on steroids. It's the same thing. Like you said, it's like, I'm going to tell you where to be, tell you what to do, tell you what to wear, and, shut up, don't complain. Deal with it, So you compartmentalize and you just do that, and you can only do that for so long. And then I feel like a lot of guys, if you start talking about therapy, they think it's soppy bullshit, but it's not. Like I said before, most people would rather hear about your problems than hear about your funeral. You know what I mean? So when it comes to what you're talking about, there's no fault or weakness in seeking out mental health services, and you're talking to someone that's been clearly helpful. And if your relationship had not necessarily benefited and you guys went your own ways, clearly your wife was already on a path of finding herself and becoming happy, and you were on a path, that's still important for both of you regardless.
Oh, yeah.
So that is important. But if you are someone who feels like, I don't need this help, that's pansy crap. That's not a good outlook. So listening to people who have sought out the assistance and see that you're no less of a man for doing that. But for some people, I think that is a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys that...
I mean, you didn't want to go at first.
No, I absolutely didn't.
Did not want to go.
Yeah.
No, I was adamant, like, these people are scam artists, they're just there to collect a paycheck and you're a number to them, kind of thing. And then I actually sat down and talked to this person, and like, they really, they from week to week, like, hey, I heard you were doing this, you were going to do this, you went to, they keep up with you, want to know what's going on. And then you actually have, like, mine, I actually can message anytime I want, like, if I'm feeling kind of off. Hey, this is what's going on right now. And if she can, she'll say, give me 30 minutes and get online, we'll talk.
Yeah.
That kind of person.
Yep.
I've yet had to do that. I've not had like some big rude life or anything like that, thankfully, because between talking to her and talking with her, and I got another mutual friend of ours looking at somebody, and he's gone through something similar, and me and him kind of keep up with each other. And Eric checks in all the time now, so it's not like people don't care. It's just like, now I got too many people to talk to, and not enough time for everybody, kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, 100%, like, don't let it slide. Don't let it take away from the things you love to do, because it absolutely happened to me for almost a year, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I think the other thing that would probably be worth taking away from the whole conversation is that, like, little things add up, and you guys clearly got to this point before you realized, oh shit, this is where our marriage is at. That happens in any relationship, or can potentially be any relationship. So taking a moment to assess and start to look at your relationships, your friendships, and be like, is this in a good place? Am I taking things for granted? Because little tiny steps might not feel like it, but they start to get big. And you guys clearly got to this point where, like, no, we got to fix this thing or it's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you knew then what you knew now, you might be like, oh shit, let's start working on this sooner.
Oh, yeah,
Like, but you didn't, and it's like you might not have realized it was a problem until it was a problem.
I would have been we talked about this before, like, I would have been saying things differently, doing things differently, been way more supportive of a lot of, like, of her things. Like, I would do things for her, but not, like, be supportive or, like, say things, do the other extra, go the extra one. And I've been trying to do that. You can always work on that. I've been trying to do that, like, and then just making, like, it sounds a little selfish, but at some point you have to, like, if you can't work on yourselves or each other, then your family's going to suffer. If I'm not right, she's not right, and we're not right, then the kids ain't going to be right. So just by us doing that, when our kids are a little older, and we're kind of like, hey, y'all on borrowed time, man.
Yeah.
We got things we want to do. We want things. We're taking them to a concert as a family here shortly. So we're doing that kind of thing, getting out of the house, all that.
We basically described earlier when we were talking off camera about like, this is the hen house or the roost. Get out. Like we're not necessarily trying to push you out, but like at some point, mom and dad are going to go do mom and dad stuff.
Yeah.
You've had your 18 to 20 plus years with us. Time for you to go fly. We're going to go do
I
our
love
thing.
my kids. I will always help my kids, but like we got lives too.
Yeah.
It's not like we're taking anything away from them. It's just like they're getting to be where they're young
More
adults and they're more self-sufficient. Yep. They're going to want their own lives. They have nothing to do with us. And I'm like, go do that. I will. If you need help, I will help you 100% as long as you ain't killing me.
Yep.
And then depending on if you need bail, what did you do?
Do I agree with it or not?
Hey, I was a cop. I can only abide so much.
Yeah.
But just don't let that stuff slide. It doesn't matter what it is, because eventually it takes you away from the things you love to do.
Yeah.
And then eventually you just don't want to do anything.
Yep. Yeah, and the last thing that I think anyone would want is if you're in a relationship for it to hit that point of no return and realize if I had done these things, we could have salvaged this friendship or this relationship, but this is too late. It's like if you hit that and it's over, and if your wife had been like, doesn't matter what you do, it's just done. I mean, but if you'd done them, it would have worked. It's like the time to start thinking.
Yeah, it hurt like hell, but when she came to me and we had that conversation, it kind of like snapped you out of it. But again, I ended up having to deal with two things at once, but like it wasn't not doable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad grammar, but like between me doing her thing, or me doing my thing, her doing her thing, and us doing our thing, we did all kind of work out.
Yeah, I think the other thing I would say about all that is probably not being afraid to attempt to communicate. So if it's like, if you want to say something you don't for fear that, well, my person might leave, they're going to be happy, they're going to be angry. Yeah. Well, the end result could be you aren't together anyway because you didn't communicate. So sometimes, like you said, this might hurt, but I got this shit I need to say. You should never feel bad about wanting to communicate with your partner or friends. If that communication ends a relationship or a friendship, it might not have been worth it to begin with. If they were like, well, I didn't like what you said, so I'm not going to be with you, peace. Life is short. The person you're with should be able to withstand what you have to say and then work with you to fix the problems between each other. And if they aren't, well, they're not good enough for you. And clearly, you guys came to to an agreement about what you were going through and how to fix it.
Okay.
But if she had never said anything, or if you were unwilling to fix yourself when she said the issue, well then now you know.
Well, I think we were both coming to the same conclusion. We just hit it at different times.
Yeah.
And then she hit it a little earlier, and I had to jump up my time frame a little bit. And that's not. I wasn't really ready for that, but I did it anyway.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of a stereotype, but they say, at least I say, I think other people do too, but relationships take work. You don't just go in and it's not just rainbows and roses every day.
Oh, you've been
together 25 years.
We've been doing that since day one. And then the other thing is we've been finding ways, to me, and it sounds weird, and I told her, money doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah. We've had money, we've had no money.
Yeah.
We figured out ways to have fun without money and have fun with money. So money is we need it to live. That's about it. We make sure our bills are paid and all that, and then after that, it's what do we want to do?
Yeah.
What do we want to do?
Yeah.
And then that's how we live. It's not I joke with my kids. I told you earlier. I said, "Sorry, I love you to death, but I want my last check to bounce."
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of those.
You won't inherit debt, but you're not sell the house.
Yeah. That's one of those where if you save, saving is not terrible, folks.
Yeah,
but I'll say this: if you pinch every penny and you hope to enjoy life when you retire at 70 years old or whatever it is. All that money, you could die at any moment. So, being smart with your finances makes sense. I'm not advocating you guys going into crazy debt, but also, if you save all your money and never spend it, you might realize that the years that you could have enjoyed that money doing something you want to do, you're no longer young enough. It's like someone, I want to go climb Mount Everest. You need to do that when you're young, not when you're 60.
Yeah.
That level of thing.
And this other thing, we're doing things she's going things with me that she typically wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to things with her that I typically would have no interest in, but because she wants to, I'm going to go.
Yeah, you support her.
Yeah, you got to do those things. And then you made me surprised and getting to be that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
she's coming into my music world, and I'm going into some of her stuff, and it's kind of like, oh, it's not too bad. And we'll sit around and like have weird conversations about it, stuff we never talked about before, just off the wall weird stuff.
Well, when you guys go to your first Tay-Tay concert, let me know. It's Taylor Swift.
That ain't happening. Okay.
You might like it.
I might like it. But
You
She
might
might like
realize
it.
it.
I'll go like this and scare the hell out of everybody around me.
Then you might get spotlighted, and she puts you on the Jumbotron, and they're like, look, we got a metalhead who's a Swiftie. You never know. You guys might leave it and be like, Justin, I got to come back for the podcast. I got to tell you what, Taylor Swift is lit. That is the best shit ever.
Those are words you'll never hear coming out of my mouth.
I know, it's funny. She is so awesome. You know, but yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any closing things you might want to say?
Don't keep shit to yourself.
And talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people.
Like, it literally will pull you away from the things you love to do, your hobbies, anything. And then it's not worth it. You just need to figure it out. Like, find somebody, talk to them. Recognize that you got a problem and get it fixed. Because the first time I was out here talking about it, I was probably living in the biggest state of denial I've ever been in my life.
Yep.
And then a year later, I was a hot mess, and now I'm kind of like coming out of it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm living a best life now.
oh yeah. Getting back into the things we love.
Yeah. Sounds like you're going to be going to a bunch of concerts next year, too. So
Oh yeah. So many.
That's it, folks. I think it's a reasonable ending point for the conversation. So, big thank you to Mike and Amanda coming out and talking to us. Some of these topics are not the easiest things to digest, but I think it's stuff that everyone can relate to and understand. And one of the big things on the channel I like to talk about with mental health stuff is to let people know that you're not alone in the world. So we talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. They clearly weren't afraid to talk about it. So whatever you may or may not be going through, whether it's yourself or friends, don't be afraid to communicate. I think if you took anything from the channel today, this video, it would be communicate before it's too late. You know what I mean? So, but that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed this and have anything you want to say to our guests here on the channel, sound off in the comments below. If you want to see more stuff like this, let us know as well. But on that note, that's all we've got for you guys today. So as always, keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, and we will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and being here with me today. I pour a lot of time and passion into every video, and I genuinely hope it adds something to your hobby experience. If you've enjoyed today's content and want to see more, consider supporting me over on Patreon. Every little bit of support helps fuel what I'm doing here, and it truly makes a difference. Whether it's a few dollars or simply sharing the channel with others, your support means the world to me and allows me to keep doing what I love and hopefully inspiring you along the way. A huge thank you as well to all my sponsors, Monument Hobbies, Fortress Miniatures and Games, Baron of Dice, and Deathler Designs as well. Their backing is vital to the channel, and if you're in the market for top quality paints, miniatures, dice, or terrain, please check out their links below. Not only will you be picking up some great products, but you'll also be supporting this growing community we share together. Thank you so much for watching, and for your time, and for being a part of this journey with me. As I sign off today, let's go ahead and highlight some awesome patrons who are helping fuel this journey we're on together and helping keep things going.